So if you feel lost in life right now, guess what? You are not alone, because I feel lost in my life right now too. And this might kind of sound crazy. You know, on paper, I shouldn't even feel this way. I went from being 19 years old, a broke college student, alone in my dorm every single weekend, no friends, failing my classes, feeling like such a failure, to now, I mean, I live in a nice high-rise New York City apartment. I'm financially stable. I hit 1 million subscribers, which was my biggest goal. I am living what I thought my dream life would look like. And don't get me wrong, I am so grateful. But you would think that once you finally get everything that you've ever wanted, you wouldn't feel so lost anymore. But take it from me, okay? I feel so lost in my life right now. I actually have no idea what I'm doing. Because right now, I'm in a season of my life where I completely pivoted my content from fitness and walked away from what I'm known for to what I'm doing now, yapping to a camera. My views dropped, my brand deals got quiet. I'm financially supporting my family. I'm taking care of my mom. I'm 26 years old right now, and the relationship I was in for 5 years that I thought was my future ended. And I'm fully in my alone season. No dating, no distractions. I'm just healing. And I'm pouring everything into building my business that I believe in, but I also don't know if it's going to work out. So yeah, I feel lost. And if you do too, I hope that you know that you are not alone. I'm right here with you. And the fact that you're here even watching this video, I'm so proud of you, because that really just says something about you. You are a high achiever who wants to stop feeling stuck. You know deep down that you are meant for better in your life. And you know deep down that you have potential that you haven't fully tapped into. So in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you why you might feel lost in life right now, why it's actually normal, and how this season can either break you or completely build you to be the person you've always wanted to be and to live the life you've always wanted. If you're new here, hello, my name is Lena, and I share all things leveling up and becoming your best self. So if you're not already subscribed, what are you doing, Kate? What are you doing? Go subscribe right now. So you might feel lost in life right now because you're in school, you're in college, and you don't have friends, you feel alone. Maybe you just got out of a relationship and you don't know what to do with yourself. Maybe you have no idea what you're doing career-wise, you're not happy with your job that you're in. Maybe you got laid off. Maybe you thought at this age you'd be further ahead in life, but you're not. Maybe you're struggling financially. And it probably seems like everyone else and their mom has everything figured out except for you. And you're probably sitting here thinking like, what am I doing with my life? But here's the part that no one really tells you. Feeling lost doesn't actually mean your life is falling apart. It just means that something in your life just doesn't align anymore. And if you currently feel lost, it's because somewhere deep down, you know that you are meant for more in life, that you deserve more for yourself, that you are outgrowing your current season in life, but you haven't fully stepped into the next one. So you're just in like this weird in-between season where you're like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't know what's next. I don't know what my life is gonna look like, and you just like start spiraling, you know? But I'm telling you right now, this season you're in right now of feeling lost is actually where your biggest transformation is going to happen. And I am telling you this from experience. Like, you know, another time in my life where I felt so lost that I felt like I didn't even deserve to be on this earth was when I was 19 and I was a freshman in college. You know, I was going to a school where my mom had to sacrifice and I had to take out loans because my family and we couldn't afford it. And I was struggling mentally. I had no friends. I felt so lonely. I felt so out of place. And I was failing my classes. I had no motivation to even like get up from bed. I was so lonely, so unhappy. I remember feeling so rejected, like rejected from every friend group that I was trying to be part of. Any friend group I wanted to be a part of, I would always feel so left out. Every internship I applied to rejected me, which looking back now, it kind of makes sense. Like back then I was literally only a freshman, and internships, a lot of times they don't want to just hire freshmen. They want to hire older, more experienced students. Because the internships didn't work out, I was trying to apply to jobs. And I remember I applied to Starbucks and I got rejected. And then I heard from my friend who also applied that he actually got it. And so I was just feeling so much rejection. I felt so lost. I felt like a failure in life. And because I was so depressed, I would binge eat to escape the feelings of sadness and feeling lonely. And so I gained weight. I was like the most unhealthy I've ever been. And so I thought I hit rock bottom, and I was like, I am a failure in life. I am gonna drop out of college and be nothing. Like, I'm disappointing my parents, this, that, and the third. I was truly at my rock bottom, or so I thought. But at this rock bottom, I actually still had a small voice in my head that was telling me, Lena, you are meant for more. You are not meant to be here in this place. You deserve more. You could do better for yourself. And so I started listening to that tiny voice in my head that was trying to encourage me. I started my YouTube channel. Guys, literally at rock bottom in my life, because I truly had nothing else to lose. I had nothing else going for me. So I was like, you know what? Why not start my dream of becoming a YouTuber? Something I've always wanted to do, but never had the courage to. Now I have nothing to lose, so let's go for it. And that was the best decision I could have made for myself, because look at where we're at now. I would not have this life. I would not be able to provide for my family. I would not be where I'm at now if it wasn't for that decision I made back then at rock bottom. I wouldn't have made that decision if I didn't feel so lost back then. So that's why I believe that if you feel lost right now, that is actually God telling you that he wants more for you, that you are meant for more. You are meant for more. Believe it. Listen to me right now. You are meant for more. So if you feel lost right now in life, it's not random. It's because you know that you are meant for more than the life that you're currently living, more than what you're settling for, more than what you've been accepting. And that feeling that you feel right now, it's uncomfortable. I know it sucks. It's not a good feeling, but that discomfort, that restlessness that you feel, that something feels off feeling that you feel, that is awareness, because your spirit is literally signaling to you that where you are right now isn't enough anymore. That's why it feels awful. That's why it feels terrible, actually, because feeling uncomfortable and terrible is the only way you will actually get up and do something about it. So don't ignore it. Don't try to numb the way you feel right now. Lean into it, because that feeling that you're feeling right now, it's gonna lead you to somewhere better. And I am your proof. I started YouTube when I felt the worst about myself. And coming from someone like, I never had the best grades. I wasn't the smartest in school. I was never the most disciplined. I don't come from money. Literally nothing in my life signaled to me that I could get to where I am today. You know, when I started posting on social media and starting my social media career, like, I was the most insecure version of myself. I felt the most lost. And that might be where you are today, right now, watching this video. And if you were like me, you might think to yourself, like, I'm lazy, I'm not special, I'm not enough, I can't do this. It might be you telling yourself that. It might be someone else telling you that in your life, which, by the way, distance yourself or completely cut those people off. I'm here to tell you today that you are worthy. You are meant for more in your life, and you need to believe it. And you know what? There are some people in life that are in a season of their life where their life isn't the best, that they're not the happiest with it, but they're just okay with it and they learn to live with it. But if you feel lost right now and you feel unhappy and something in you is telling you that you want better for yourself, you need to chase it and go for it. You need to climb out of the hole that you are in. And so to start that process, you can start asking yourself, where do I want to be? And you don't have to have all the answers right now and know everything. Like, you don't need to have a whole 5-year plan, have everything figured out. You don't need to have the perfect career mapped out. Just start small. Ask yourself today, what's one thing that I can do differently today that will get me closer to the version that I want to be? And I promise you, it is going to start with taking that one habit, that one decision, that one action that's going to move you closer to the life that you always wanted. Why I feel lost and how you can have everything but still feel lost. So I know it's so easy to see my life and be like, why the heck does this girl feel lost? Like, she has everything you could want, you know? And I get that. Coming from someone that does not come from money, does not come from much. Like, if 19-year-old Lena were to see today 26-year-old Lena and hear me today complaining or communicating that I feel lost, 19-year-old me would be like, girl, you sound entitled. And I get it, okay? You know, especially coming from an unstable background financially and growing up in a very toxic household my entire childhood, like, for me, I thought that money would just solve everything. And don't get me wrong, it solves a lot of problems, and the stress I grew up with all the time surrounding money, like, I'm so blessed to not experience that anymore. So I would never want any of you, you know, especially in today's economy, which is ridiculous, like, to feel like I'm entitled or I don't see the everyday struggles of how difficult it is financially every day, and for that to be a stress every day, like, that is so valid. So that's why I felt even more lost, because I thought that since I finally achieved, you know, financial stability for the first time in my life, I wouldn't feel lost anymore, but I do. So first, I stopped being a fitness influencer, and you've been with me starting from day one. Like, that is how I first started my entire platform. I was documenting to my community of how I lost weight and how I became fit, and I would document my fitness journey, and I would post my workouts, this, that, and the third. And so I was branded as this fitness influencer. I used to be like a Gymshark athlete, and I was like this gym girl. And so that's all I knew for the 5 years I was doing social media. So I made the decision to stop being a fitness influencer and completely pivot to this new direction of self-improvement content, which is what you're watching right now. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm posting this content, it doesn't get the most views. It doesn't. You know, me yapping at a camera for 30 minutes straight is like not the most entertaining for a lot of people, but this content provides the most value. And that's why I made that difficult decision. But at the same time, when you pivot your content completely to something different, the views drop and the brand deals are quiet. And when I made that decision to completely pivot, it was actually in February, and guys, that month, the brand deals were crickets, okay? There was no one that wanted to work with your girl. And it was really stressful, and it was silent, and it was scary for a long time. And just changing your content in general from what you were known for to something completely different, like, that is a scary move, especially when you're seeing the views dropping and, you know, brand deals quiet. Like, it's scary, and I felt lost. Another thing is, I retired from the thirst traps. I know that sounds crazy, but being a fitness influencer, I did post my body a lot. And the fitness influencers, like, it's a lot of showing your body. Not that you have to, but it's kind of like, you're wearing gym clothes, it's tight, like, not making an excuse, but I was in this industry where I was showing off my body a lot, and it actually made my body dysmorphia so much worse, guys. I was always focused on my body and picking apart every little thing I didn't like. And the reason why I retired from the thirst traps and I archived a bunch of my photos where I was showing body yaddy yaddy is because I realized that my validation and self-worth wound from my childhood, where I grew up with an abusive, absent parent, I was filling that wound with validation and praise and attention from showing my body. And I realized so much of my worth was tied to my body. And so that's why I had to archive some of the thirst traps and like the photos that were giving too much body, because I'm committed to building true self-worth and not cheap attention anymore, because that is what used to fuel me before. And I don't want that in my life anymore. And by the way, disclaimer, I'm not trying to put down fitness influencers or fitness in general. I think it's still great and amazing. A bunch of my friends are fitness influencers, but for me, when I was one, since it was so tied to my self-worth and validation, and it made me so insecure about my body, I just couldn't do it anymore. Another reason why I feel lost right now is I'm currently financially supporting my mom and my family. And at the same time right now, I am investing thousands and thousands of dollars into Cove, my journaling and documenting app. And it's because I genuinely believe in the mission. But at the same time, there are some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna actually work out. I don't know if this is gonna be successful. I don't know if what I'm putting into it is going to waste. And sometimes when I think about it too much, I start to spiral and I feel lost. At the same time, I'm investing money into that. I'm also currently paying legal fees for a situation with someone from my past. And that stress on top of everything else financially, it has been a huge burden and weight on me. Also, like I said, I'm 26 and I got out of a long-term relationship last year, and I was with that person my entire 20s. And back then I thought that person was gonna be my future. And now I'm seeing people my age, they're getting engaged, they're getting married, some of them are having kids, and I just got out of a relationship. Girl, I feel lost. I'm like, what? This was not the plan I had for myself. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, the thought of having to get to know another stranger, be open up, be vulnerable again, and just go through that whole process, I'm like, when I start thinking about that, my butt starts sweating, like for real. Like it's overwhelming. And right now I'm fully in my alone season. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not dating. I'm not doing any of that because I'm so committed to healing fully. I'm healing from a long-term relationship that was toxic for me, and I'm healing my childhood wounds from my dad as an adult. I'm spending hours and hours in therapy, spending hundreds of dollars on therapy, and all this to say, your girl feels lost right now in life. I have no clue what I'm doing. There's a saying that you make plans and God laughs. And that is so true. I had this vision for myself. I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna hit 1 million subscribers. I'm gonna live in my dream apartment. I'm gonna get married, go on luxury trips, live my dream life, live happily ever after. And God said, girl, no. You got work to do. So, did I think I would be 26 years old, living with my 2 cats, single, taking care of my mom, and spending hours in front of my therapist, reading my Bible every single day instead of dancing on a yacht, drinking mimosas in Mykonos, and living my best life? No. But here I am. And it is a battle every day to show up for myself this way. And there are some days where I wake up and I'm like, I got this. Okay, I got this. I'm motivated. I can do this. I'm following the plan that God has for me. And then there's other days I wake up and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to fail. I just want to rot in bed all day. I feel so lost in my life. And so I say all this to say, a lot of you might think I have my life together, like I know what I'm doing. I do not. And I would argue that majority of people that you see that seem like they have their life together on social media, they don't. And I just keep reminding myself that I've had other rock bottoms in my life where I thought I would never get out of it, and I still got out of it. And in fact, I came out stronger. And I keep reminding myself that this season is temporary. And you need to remind yourself that too. Your season of feeling lost and lonely and depressed and unsure is temporary. And you are going to come out of this so much stronger. Empty your tank and let God do the rest. So I'm not about to preach to you or try to shove religion down your throat. That's not me, and I really don't want to do that. I really want this space to be a safe space for everybody, no matter what you believe in. But I do want to share, I am Christian and my faith is a huge part of my life now. It has changed my life, especially after a lot of the painful and traumatic things that I've experienced recently. Developing a relationship with God, getting to know Jesus, that has changed my life in ways I don't even know how to explain. But yeah, I feel like in life, as humans, there needs to be something higher than you for you to believe in. We are just humans. We have limitations. You know, we can't do everything. And you will actually hear the same thing from a lot of self-improvement people like Andrew Huberman, who's a scientist, and also Arthur C. Brooks, who's a social scientist. They both talk about having faith in God because believing in something bigger than yourself, it gives you that comfort and that confidence and that inner knowing that as long as you empty your tank and you do your best, God will handle the rest. And there were so many times, guys, when I was doing social media and I started my YouTube channel where I wanted to give up so much. So having faith that God got me and that as long as I work my hardest and try my best, like, you know, learn how to edit, upgrade my editing, try to think of cool video ideas and just show up and try to do my best, that is all I need to do because there's something bigger than me that is handling the rest. You know, as humans, we all have limitations and I believe that's for a reason, and it's because God's glory is able to shine the brightest. And if you feel called to be open to having faith, or, you know, maybe you used to and you fell away, trust me, that was me too. I hope that you take this as your sign to go back. And I hope you take this as your sign to seek it and seek faith and seek a relationship with God, or, you know, what you believe in, and trust in that. Like, if you're a little curious with your faith, like, girl, tap in. Like, that was the best decision I've ever made. I had that curiosity of having faith and believing in God, and it has changed my life. So that whole idea of emptying your tank, doing your best, and letting God handle the rest, it will change your life. Stop doom scrolling and support your growth. You know, it's so easy when you feel really lost in life to start distracting yourself. And today's day and age, it's all about this, right? It's being on these devices and doom scrolling. It is crazy how addictive these things are. Like, guys, I was talking to my brother-in-law the other day, and he's a doctor, so super disciplined, very meticulous man who's hardworking. He also struggles with being addicted to doom scrolling. And I feel like it doesn't matter how disciplined of a person that you are. We all struggle with that. But especially when you feel lost in life and you find yourself doom scrolling, it is so bad for your mental health because you're constantly comparing yourself with other people's lives on social media that look perfect. You're like, oh, this person has this person has that. Like, this person looks so successful, I'm not, and blah, blah, blah. But let me hold your hand when I say this as someone that also struggles with doom scrolling. If you feel lost and you are spending more time scrolling and comparing and numbing, you will continue to feel lost, and you're gonna get to the end of your life never reaching your full potential. Listen, I know that's hard to hear, but it's true. And until your fear of never reaching your full potential becomes greater than your desire to be constantly comfortable, you are going to stay stuck forever. And guys, like, I'm so passionate about this topic of doom scrolling because it is something that I struggle with, and one of the biggest things that helped me with my doom scrolling is journaling. And that's actually why I created Cove. It's a journaling and documenting app where it is your safe space away from social media to document your life and post photos, videos, journal entries. You could even save links to things. I always save links to like my favorite TikToks. And the whole idea is getting the good things out of social media and your day-to-day life and having a safe space for it, because social media, it is not the safe space. As soon as I open social media, I find myself just doing this. And Cove is a tool that I use personally every single day to help me to focus back on my own life instead of doom scrolling and comparing my life with everybody else. So I'll have Cove linked in my description for you guys if you want to check it out. It has changed my life, so I hope that it changes yours. You need pain to grow. I heard this one quote. It's, a life with no struggles is a life where nothing changes. And I heard this from social scientist Arthur C. Brooks, who I'm a huge fan of. He teaches the science of happiness at Harvard, and he talks a lot about this idea of pain in life is something that you shouldn't try to avoid all the time. That pain is what actually shapes you. Because think about it, if you didn't have that pain and that suffering and that discomfort, you would just stay exactly where you are, very comfortable, unchanged. But pain is what forces you to look at your life. Pain is what forces you to finally wake up. Pain is what forces you to make different decisions for yourself. And I've experienced this firsthand. The most painful seasons of my life is when I learned the most about myself, where I've grown the most, where my life has changed for the better. Those painful moments were the exact moments that pushed me to grow. Not when things were going well and I was comfortable and I was happy, but when things got uncomfortable enough for me to say, okay, this sucks and I hate feeling this way. Let me do something about it. Pain has a purpose, and it's not here and it's not there to break you. It's there to direct you. You know, the other day I met up with my friend and I updated her on all these things that are going on in my life. In detail, she knows everything that's going on in my life. You guys probably know like 50% of it. The rest, you know, is personal and I can't share certain things, but she knows everything. And she heard me ranting and venting to her about all these things I'm going through. And she just looks at me and she goes, She's like, Lena, you're such a kind person. Like, I don't know why all these things are happening to you in your life and why you had such a hard childhood. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, she basically just felt so sorry for me. And I actually laughed when she said that because I was like, you're right, honestly. It's kind of crazy, some of the things that I went through and I'm going through. But I also truly believe that if I didn't go through some of the BS that I went through in my childhood and my adult life and just having people in my life that treated me horribly and, betrayed me and talk crap about me, all that stuff. Like, if I didn't have all these experiences under my belt, number one, I would have never grown from them. But number two, I wouldn't be able to share the advice and the wisdom that I have from these painful experiences to share with you guys and help you if you're going through a hard time in your life. If my life was perfect and dandy and I was like cookie cutter, perfect influencer, like my life is amazing all the time, 110% of the time, I don't think that you guys would respect my opinion or listen to my advice on how to get through hard times in your life. And so, yeah, I see my platform as a responsibility. God has really revealed that to me. And it is such a privilege to be able to have this platform. If I got to go through things in my life that are painful, but then I get to use those experiences to help other people, like that is so empowering to me. And I'm so grateful. At the same time, I'm like, God, let's take a break. Okay, I feel like I'm being waterboarded all the time and I need a break. I would like to enjoy my life right now. But yeah, I feel like that's why you also find there's like a lot of comedians who are really funny, who have been through so many hard things in their life. Like, that's why they have a desire to make other people laugh, because they've been through so many hard things. That's kind of how I see it. But yeah, stop trying to be the best. Just be your best. I literally had this person from like middle school message me the other day after he watched some of my videos. He like messaged me something so sweet. He was like, I don't even know why, but I watched all of your videos and I just want to say like, you're doing amazing. And I see you doing all these great things and taking care of your mom and like living this life. And I'm so proud of you. But like, I feel so lost in life. I feel like I have no progress in life. And that message, it really touched me because I know exactly how he feels. And I responded to him and I said, I feel you, but you're also still so young and you have to be easier on yourself. I'm taking care of my mom because I have to, but I've been through so much pain and suffering before this. I was broke, putting all the money I made from social media to my rent and living with 3 other people. And I know my life looks great on social media, but I'm still dealing with a lot of BS. Just to prove to you, even when you have it, it's not enough. I know it's really difficult, blah, 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 blah. I said, I believe in you that you can do it genuinely. I messaged some other things to encourage him, but the reason why I felt lost, the reason why he probably feels lost right now, it's because he is comparing his life to mine. And that is the worst thing you can do, to look at someone else's life and make that as a standard of your own. Everyone is on their different paths, their different journeys, and everyone is starting from a different starting point. You cannot compare to other people. You need to focus on your own journey and your own path. Your life is your own. Your timing is going to be your own. Your path is your own. Like I said in the message to him, I didn't choose to be in a family where my upbringing was so traumatic and, I'm supporting my mom at 26, like growing up in a financially unstable household my whole life to now having to be an adult and step up because my mom is 61 and, left my narcissistic alcoholic father who cheated on her. Like, that is stuff that I did not choose to be born into and deal with. But that is my journey and that is my path, and I'm going to do the best that I can with the path that I have. That needs to be your mindset. Do not compare yourself to anybody but who you were yesterday. I really hope this video helped any of you, and if you're feeling lost, I hope you know that you are not alone. And if you're real, want to watch the end of this video, comment down below this emoji so I know that you watched the end. Also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post a lot more on there, and I really hope this video spoke to somebody out there. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Taking a ride to Jonah Lake 눈치 보면서 들어가 할 때 찾아